Guys, over the last week or so, maybe even 2 weeks now, I've really been kind of exhausted with Infinity Ward as developers, as human beings, to be completely honest. Like, it's just getting to the point that every single time I see them on Twitter, or every single time they update the game, of course, everybody knows every time they update the game, they actually always give us more bugs, and instead of fixing things, they seem to make things worse. And a lot of the times, it's not really something hidden that you kind of need to go out and look for. It's usually something very blatant and obvious, and how do you miss this, or how do you mess this up? And I just saw Blame Truth's recent video where he theorizes that the developers are actually AI bots. That's right, guys, AI bots, they're not actual humans. And I gotta admit, based off of the things that I've seen from Infinity Ward, I wouldn't be surprised. I've already called them a subspecies of human. You know, they could easily be reptilians. Being AI bots isn't really out of the realm of possibilities. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, can you imagine 3,000 people royally fucking up this badly every single time they do anything? And after Season 2 Reloaded came out, there's been a wide variety of bugs, so if some of these are new that you haven't heard of yet, then you can thank the Scadmaster for bringing it up to you. And let me just tell you guys that some of these bugs have already been fixed, but the fact that some of these were even issues to begin with is just beyond me. One of the first ones that I saw, and this one is actually funny because it started happening ever since this whole free trial thing started becoming a thing. Sometimes I'll be playing the game and then I just get kicked out to the main menu, and then I try to reboot whatever playlist I was in, and then I get a notification that says, hey, you need to purchase the game if you want to access multiplayer. And you know, that's kind of strange because I could have sworn I paid $70 fucking for this shit. And now that there's a free trial, I guess the developers can't tell the difference between somebody who bought the goddamn game and somebody who's on a free trial. Does this sound like people with common sense or an IQ above 2? No, to me it doesn't. So maybe this whole reptilian AI subspecies shit, maybe it's actually true. But we aren't done yet, guys. There is another one that actually makes me feel like maybe what I'm saying, maybe what Blame Truth is saying, maybe what the public is saying about the developers, and they're not actually being 3,000 devs, and instead maybe just AI or a bunch of morons, it leads me to believe that this is true. Yeah, so in this tweet by Infinity Ward, we are working on a small update to correct irregular animation and behavior to tactical sprint. The change was unintentional, and because we're a bunch of fucking morons and bozos with no common sense, we messed up the tactical sprint animation, and it took over a minute to get your tactical sprint back. Now this one was quickly fixed, and I'm actually appreciative of that, but again, the fact that this was even an issue to begin with before launching Season 2, you know, you can just go into a private match, run around for like 10-15 seconds, and you would see that, hey, there's something wrong with the tac sprint. But of course, it's Infinity Ward. A lot of you guys gassed them up, they got their money, when in reality, these dumbasses don't know their elbows from their ass. And hold on, guys, here's another one. Our Season 2 Reloaded patch notes incorrectly featured the LM Nebula barrel attachment, which is actually coming to a future season. We've amended the patch notes to reflect this, and thank you for your patience while we address this error. Sorry for the confusion. That's right, guys, they were buffing one of the guns, I think it was the MP7 or the MP5, and they said that they buffed an attachment that simply did not exist in the game. Personally, if I were working on an update and I was in charge of the MP5, for example, and they said, hey, you know, increase this, increase that, decrease this, and hey, make sure this attachment is getting better as well. Well, then I would go ahead and try out the attachment, and then I would realize that, hey, wait a minute, this attachment isn't actually in the game right now. How am I supposed to change values in something that doesn't exist in the game yet? And of course, it's coming soon, but then again, if I'm a developer who's being paid 5 to 6 figures, and I'm only in charge of weapons and attachments and tuning and changing the stats of these attachments, then I feel like that would be something I would catch before the update goes live. I don't know, that's just my opinion as somebody with common sense, but that's just a short list of the bugs that came out with this update. Guys, there's one thing that I haven't talked about yet, and it's not necessarily a bug, but it does speak to Infinity Ward's incompetence. this. And it was something that I wanted to talk about, but in my last video, I had to make fun of the developers for fucking up the new map with the flag locations and the fucking objectives, even with overwhelming feedback from the community. I mean, so many people are making memes about this. Infinity Ward hasn't done anything to do anything about it. But enough of that, guys. I want to talk about sound and audio and footstep audio. You know, this is such a sensitive topic for so many people in the COD community because if you've been around for over, I don't know, 5 years, then we've simply had the option to have Dead Silence or Ninja as a perk. If you barely started Call of Duty, or if some of your favorite Call of Duties include titles 2019 and after, then something like footstep audio might be something you're sensitive to. So to the gooch lickers, let me just tell you right now, if my opinions on sound and footsteps offends you, please grab a baseball mitt so you could fit the girth and size of my ball sack in the palm of your hands, and now place it in your mouth and shut the fuck up, fat fuck. So about a week ago, this comes out from Infinity Ward. Season 2 Reloaded will include audio updates, sub-mix fixes that were affecting enemy footstep volume, equalize sand footsteps to better cut through the mix similar to dirt and concrete. PC users will have an audio update allowing users to select stereo or surround outputs. And you know, when I hear audio updates, I think that's good because in a game like MW 2019 and MW 2019 Part 2, sound, audio, and footsteps for whatever reason has become super controversial. Now, we know for a fact, and let me just say this right now, this is a fact, it is not an opinion. The reason why the footstep audio was cranked so high, the reason why audio has become such a large proponent in the game to locate people, quote unquote, and part of the reason why we don't even have a working minimap is because Infinity Ward wanted to cater to who, guys? Why were these audio changes implemented in these new CODs in the first place? It's because Infinity Ward wanted to protect a bunch of morons who couldn't shoot straight, who couldn't flank to save their life, who didn't have any sense of movement or awareness in their gameplay, and they wanted these morons to feel good about themselves, and they let them get free kills on people who would move on the map, people who weren't a bunch of pussies. I personally like getting off of my ass and moving around. In these last few games, especially Infinity Ward titles, you simply can't do that because you're heard from a mile away as if you're like Lizzo stomping around in the middle of the night trying to get a midnight snack from the fridge. So when I hear audio updates, the one thing I actually care about is for footstep audio to be decreased a little bit. It doesn't need to be super heavy. It certainly doesn't need to be silent. I've never asked for that. I don't think anybody's ever asked for that. Why the hell are they working on audio updates 5 months after the game launched? It's because they realized that people were fed up with this crap and they stopped playing. And there's obvious issues with the audio that's aside from just the footstep audio. I don't know if any of you guys are aware of the directional audio issues with this game. Like sometimes you'll hear somebody to your left and then it turns out they're actually on the right. From what I know, this audio update seemed to have fixed that. Now, from my experience in ranked play lobbies where things are more competitive and you actually do need audio to help you out at least a little bit, although it's not a crutch because we're not shitters, in my opinion, I don't think it's actually been fixed all that much, and even worse, you can't tell the difference between up and down with the directional audio. In a game that is supposed to be realistic, right? You want audio to be used to your advantage in every single way possible. Why is it that when I hear somebody in front of me and it sounds like they're directly in front of me, I push open a door and they're actually above me? Guys, it's because the developers are fucking stupid. Don't you think this is something you playtest? Hey, if somebody's to my left, should they be on the left or should they be on the right? Common sense says they should be on the left, where you hear them. The same thing goes for up and down. If I hear somebody in front of me or below me, how the hell does it make sense that they're above me? And that one is still an issue that I do experience in the game. So even when they try to do something with the audio, even though it's been 5 months and people have been telling them for 5 months to do something about the audio and the footstep audio, even when they get to it, they still fuck it up. Why? Because the developers aren't human beings that deserve rights. Stupidity has no limits when it comes to Infinity Ward. But that's gonna do it for me today, guys. I'm curious to know what you guys think about this. Do you think there's actual human beings behind these updates? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notifications to stay up to date with my newest videos, and yeah guys, it's been the boy Fooly. Have yourselves a good one. I'm out of here. Toodles. It's been a